we are going to discuss very fundamental or basic part of Indian polity, that is how the parliamentary structure and federal structure that is working in India. So this is a series of shorts which will go by part 1, part 2, part 3 like that. So first we are going to discuss what is the situation. I am explaining through some diagram, that is we are calling this as Venn diagram, not exactly Venn diagram but sort of Venn diagram. So first this is president, then obviously president is part of parliament. So this box I am showing here, this is actually a parliamentary box. Here two houses are there. One is called as upper house, other is called as lower house. Upper house, that is called as Rajya Sabha in India, whereas lower house is called as Lok Sabha in India. Now here I have to show something different part. This is, we have to say the Council of Ministers. So in this diagram only I am showing you the Council of Ministers. The reason is that council member may be member of Rajya Sabha, so I am giving some space here. Council member may be member of Lok Sabha, so I am giving space here. Or while joining, council member, that minister may not be member of any house, but within 6 months he or she or it now must achieve the status either member of Lok Sabha or member of Rajya Sabha. As a result, I am showing here this council part which is outside also. So a layman can become minister. Answer yes. No doubt he is not member of either Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha at time of his or her appointment, but within 6 months that should get fulfilled. That means either that person must become member of Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha within 6 months. So that's why we are keeping this side aside. So this way we are showing this is the central government structure. Now we are aware the capacities of Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, all that, and actually the Council of Ministers is having all powers, and that powers are executed through President. Now we are discussing structure of state government. So here I have to show various state governments are there. So like that many. But here I am showing only one part. Now purposefully I have connected this president with this box. This is governor. Now it may be, I am showing, that's why a sort of dotted line here. This is called as upper house, and this is sure, this is lower house. So same structure is here, and obvious thing, this is the part, this is Council of Ministers. So here this is called as Legislative Council, and this is called as Legislative Assembly. The Legislative Council, that is also called as Vidhana Parishad, and Legislative Assembly is called as Vidhan Sabha. So this is for state government. Obviously it is led by a person, constitutional chief, that is governor. Now here in state also same thing is there, Council of Ministers. The council member may be member of Legislative Council, may be member of Legislative Assembly, or may not be member of both the houses. Now intentionally I have shown here some dotted part. That means Legislative Council is there. Answer is may be there, may not be there. So for that purpose it is state government's achievement that whether they should keep this or not, partly, and partly by central government also, because certain laws, rules are set up so that state can have Legislative Council. Legislative Council is oftenly called as ornament. We have to say this is an ornament because that is required, answer is it is serving like ornament. It is essential, answer is without ornament you can move. So it is not essential. But if it is there, then it increases your value. So like that, this legislative council that is there for state government. So one may connect this way that governor is connected to president, Rajya Sabha can be equivalent. I am not saying it is equivalent because many states are not having legislative council. But those who have, for them it is serving somewhat similar to Rajya Sabha. I am saying somewhat similar to Rajya Sabha because what the powers Rajya Sabha possess, that all powers are not possessed by Vidhan Parishad, that is Legislative Council. So this is part of Legislative Council, and Legislative Assembly we can compare with Lok Sabha. So like that, many states are there, and I may consider this as for other states also. So this is simply we can make structure of our government. This is very, very fundamental part. I hope you are aware of this all part, whatever I have discussed. But if you are not, you are beginner in this field, then for beginner, this video, particularly this Venn diagram like structures, they are really helpful. Now in next short, we are going to discuss. Now we discuss here that we are going to discuss now this is called as central government and this is called as state government. I am again clearly mentioning here that legislative council is may be there or may not be there. That is a question of law and that state, central government and that particular state. So if it is there, then always we have to say resemblance. Now we are focusing on central government and how it functions in next video. Now in case of central government, obvious thing is that this is the president. Now in British Constitution, this place is there for king, whereas in American Constitution, this is called as president. So here we took name from America, that is president, and power resembling, I am not saying same to same, but powers resembling to King of England are adopted here for president. Many people are saying president act as a rubber stamp, but it is not a case, that certain extraordinary powers are there in hands of president. So president is chief here. Again I am saying this is YouTube short, so we are not discussing in detail. We are discussing just at glance. For details, you have to observe our regular videos that is there on our YouTube channel, Savarkar IAS Study Circle. Full length videos are available over there. Now, Rajya Sabha, that is upper house of parliament, obviously senior members are expected there, and it is called as a permanent house of parliament. So this is the criteria, and members of Rajya Sabha are not directly elected by the public. They are indirectly elected by public, and this is called as a senior or upper house of parliament. Now Lok Sabha represents direct representation of people, therefore it is called as Lok Sabha. Resembling to in case of England, that is called as bicameral legislature. So where we have two chambers. In Urdu, what Kamra is called as, like that we can understand bicameral. So two chambers are there, the upper house and lower house. So upper house, that stands for in England, it is called as House of Lords, and lower house is called as House of Commons. We named only Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. Now this is upper house Rajya Sabha, this is lower house Lok Sabha. Now here power is literally there in hands of members of Lok Sabha, because the members of Lok Sabha are directly elected by public, and therefore their strength, I am writing here, that is, now this is the maximum capacity. Keep in mind, whatever number I am writing, this is the maximum capacity. It is not necessary these many members should be there, but this is the maximum capacity, whereas here the capacity is 250. So whenever there is dispute between Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, chances if are there then obviously Lok Sabha is given full vantage that 550 members are there, they are more than double of members of Rajya Sabha. Now, Lok Sabha enjoys certain great power which Rajya Sabha is not having. For example, money bill, anything related with money, that is tax, then expenditure or loan, that everything regarding with money, financial conditions, they are discussed in Lok Sabha only. That is also, if money bill is there, then money bill is presented in Lok Sabha by recommendation of President only. So this way, Lok Sabha enjoys certain other power because directly public representation is there in Lok Sabha. But the Council of Minister can be from any part, from Lok Sabha or from Rajya Sabha. We are discussing about ministers. So first, obvious thing, Prime Minister. So in India, now what we made our constitution accordingly, Prime Minister is really chief, publicly elected chief, and oath is given by President. But who is that? Answer is simple. The person who claims that half plus majority is there. That is, we are generally calling simple majority. That means if in Lok Sabha, suppose 540 seats are there, then 540 divided by 2. So here 540, yeah, it can be there because less than 550 divided by 2. So answer is 270. So if 270 plus 1, what is simple majority here? So if 546 are there in Lok Sabha, see here I have written 550, this is maximum capacity. But in particular election, suppose elections were completed for 546, then what is simple majority? So we have to divide this by 2. So here we are getting answer as 270 plus 1. This is called as simple majority. So that is actually half of the seats plus 1. This word we are calling simple majority. Sometimes 2/3 majority is also required, but not in case of becoming Prime Minister. So the person who claims that I have simple majority or more than that in Parliament, then that person is appointed as President, appointed as Prime Minister by President. Is it sufficient? Anybody can claim, and for that purpose, in session of Parliament, particularly Lok Sabha session, that person who says that I am having simple majority, that person must prove, that is called as vote of confidence. So that must be passed in Parliament. Therefore, if that is passed, then all right, that person continues working as Prime Minister. But if that is not able to pass, then obviously he is not capable, he or she that is not capable of making or working like Prime Minister. So try to recollect the case when the great leader Atal Bihari Vajpayee first time became Prime Minister. At that time he was not able to prove this. So his government lasted at 13 days. 13 days because the majority, that vote of confidence should be passed within 14 days of the taking oath. So when person is appointed as Prime Minister, after that within 14 days, that person should pass the majority, that vote of confidence in the Parliament. Now, along with Prime Minister, all ministers are also appointed. Prime Minister is appointed by President, but remaining all ministers are appointed by President with consulting with Prime Minister. So here Prime Minister's decision is important, and this way this council is taking place. So Lok Sabha directly elected, then council member, that is selected people. Out of that, Prime Minister should have majority. Then after that, Prime Minister is going to appoint all other ministers, but the person may be member of Lok Sabha at time of appointment, may be member of Rajya Sabha at time of appointment, or may not be member of any house at time of appointment. If that person is not member, then within 6 months that person should achieve this status. So this way our Council of Ministers is there. And now going towards Rajya Sabha. Rajya Sabha is upper house of parliament, where we have total capacity, that is 250. Out of that, 238 are elected members, whereas 12 members are nominated members. So let us talk of elected members. So they are elected from states, state legislature. These voting rights are there, and this way they represent truly the states in India. That's why it is called as Rajya Sabha. Now, to the surprise, here the tenure of each member, I'm not saying Rajya Sabha, tenure of each member is of 6 years, whereas Rajya Sabha is permanent house. So every year, after every 2 years, 1/3 members are going to retire, and that is added again. This way Rajya Sabha is having continuity. So every 2 years, 1/3 are going to retire and 1/3 are going to get added. So this way Rajya Sabha functions. Now, President is capable, actually the person should capable of getting elected in Lok Sabha. It is not necessary person must belong to Lok Sabha. Okay, but when that person is going for election, at that time, that person should not hold any office of profit in government. That means existing Prime Minister will not able to fight for presidential election. So at that time, that person should not have any post in hand, and then person can fight. So president is there. Any person in India can contest this presidential election, provided certain rules and regulations are there. We have to follow that rules, that who is going to nominate you, then second you, and all that things are there. But age criteria, nationality criteria, all these things are there. But it is not necessary that at time of appointment person should be member of Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha. This condition is not at all there. But after getting elected, that person is having right to speech, right to deliver speech in parliament. So no doubt, the person is not member of Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha, but giving speech in parliament. So this is the president's power, we can say. Now, this way our central government works. In India, what is the fantastic thing? That whatever the state, number of states or what, and central government, both are having only single constitution. It is not that states are having separate constitution and central government is having separate. No, in a single constitution, states as well as central government is mentioned. Now, states are under full control of central government, and for that purpose, the president is having power to appoint governor. Now, this is, we particularly borrowed from 1935's Act, but this is essential so that in case of India, we are calling India as Union of States. Now, Legislative Assembly, same. People are elected from directly public. Legislative Council, indirect representation if it is there. Council of Minister may be here, or maybe outside. But whatever the laws, that is bill that is passed by state government, that is converted into law only when governor is going to sign that. And for any problematic thing, governor is having power to send this bill to president. And president can think over it for as many as years he wants. And this way, state government is under full control of central government. Of states, certain subjects are mentioned in constitution that is there in the state government's list, and certain subjects they are kept in concurrent list. So we have to discuss that in obviously detail, but I am again saying that this is the last part of this short video. Just I am explaining brief structure of our constitution here. This is not perfect lecture, this is just short, and therefore I will recommend you to to observe these full videos on our YouTube channel, that is Savarkar IAS Study Circle. Thanks for observing this series.